Hello people, this is Kerry Anderson. Hope you all doing well. In today's video, I'll be talking about coincidence and the meaning of life. So if you like the video related to manifestation power, I would like to request you all please to subscribe the channel, hit the bell icon, give thumbs up so that I will come up with more and more videos with lots and lots of information. So here we begin, let's go. Coincidences and the meaning of life. The surprising chances of our life can seem like they are hinting at hidden truth, but they are really revealing the human mind at work. Towards the end of seventh grade, my middle school band took a trip to Cedar Point, which was pretty much the theme park to which Midwestern middle school bands traveled. I imagine it still is. They had this indoor roller coaster there called the Disaster Transport. My friends and I were standing in line for this roller coaster, winding up the dimly lit cement step when we turned a corner and came across a huge pile of money. We picked it up and counted it. It was a very specific amount of money. I don't remember now exactly how much, but for the purposes of this retelling, let's say it was $134. That sounds close. We had barely had time to whiplash from marveling at our good fortune to guiltily suggesting we should find somewhere to turn it in before a group of older kids ahead of us snatched the cash vat out of our hand. They claimed it was there. It was not there. They counted it in front of us and exchanged woes and high fives. We were helpless, gangly middle schoolers. I was screwing out my bangs. It was a rough year. They were confident we would do nothing to stop them, and they were right. So that was the end of that. Until part two, a little more than a year later, I went to a summer program at Michigan State University, a nerd camp where you take classes like genetic or for fun. One evening, as we were sitting around in the common area chatting and doing homework, I overheard a kid telling his friend how he lost a bunch of money last year at Cedar Point. With very little attempt at chill, I interrupted their conversation and grilled him on the particulars. Was he there on me? Whatever date I was also there he was. Did he lose the money in line for the disaster transport? In fact, he did. How much money did he lose? $134 exactly. Though what are the odds is pretty much the catchphrase of coincidence. A coincidence is not just something that was unlikely to happen. The overstuffed crate labeled coincidence is packed with an amazing variety of experiences, and yet something more than rarity compels us to group them together. They have a similar texture, a feeling that the fabric of life has rippled. The question is where these feelings come from, why we notice certain ways the threads of our lives collide and ignore others. Some might say it's just because people don't understand probability. In their 1989 paper, Methods for Studying Coincidences, the mathematicians Percy Diaconis and Frederick Moss Taylor considered defining a coincidence as a rare event but decided this includes too much to permit careful study. Instead, they settled on a coincidence is a surprising concurrence of events perceived as meaningfully related with no apparent causal connection. From a purely statistical point of view, these events are random, not meaningfully related, and they should not be that surprising because they happen all the time. Extremely improbable events are commonplace, as the statistician David Hand says in the book The Improbability Principle, but humans generally are not great at reasoning objectively about probability as they go about their everyday life. For one thing, people can be pretty liberal with that. They consider coincidences. If you meet someone who shares your birthday, that seems like a fun coincidence, but you might feel the same way if you meet someone who shared your mother's birthday or your best friend, or if was the day right before or after yours. So there are several birthdays that person could have that would feel coincidental. and there are a lot of people on this planet, more than 7 billion. In fact, according to the law of truly large numbers, with a large enough sample, any outrageous thing is likely to happen. Diaconis and most Taylor right, if enough people buy ticket, there will be a Powerball winner. To the person who wins, it's surprising and miraculous, but the fact that someone won does not surprise the rest of us. Even within the relatively limited sample of your own life, there are all kinds of opportunities for coincidence to happen. When you consider all the people you know and all the places you go and all the places they go, chances are good that you will run into someone you know somewhere at the same point. But it still seems like coincidence when you do. When something surprising happens, we don't think about all the times it could have happened but didn't. And when we include near misses as coincidence, you and your friend were in the same place on the same day, just not at the same time, the number of possible coincidences is suddenly way greater. A coincidence is in the eye of the beholder. To demonstrate how common and likely seeming events can be, mathematicians like to trot out what is called the birthday problem. The question is how many people need to be in a room before there is a 50-50 chance but two of them will share the same birthday. The answer is 23. Oh, those guys and their birthdays really get me mad, says Bernard Bittman, a psychiatrist and visiting professor at the University of Virginia, and author of the forthcoming book Connecting with Coincidence. That's not the way the average person would frame that question. When someone asks what are the odds, they are not asking what are the odds that a coincidence of this nature would have happened to anyone in the room, but more like what are the odds that this specific things would happen to me here and now. And with anything more complicated than a birthday match, that become almost impossible to calculate. It's true that people are fairly egocentric about their coincidence. The psychologist Raymond Falk found in study that people rate their own coincidence as more surprising than others' people. They are like dreams. Mine is more interesting than yours. A coincidence itself is in the eye of beholder. Okay, I told Spiegelter my Cedar Point story on the phone. I could not help it. He collects coincidences. See, a thriller novel called The Coincidence Authority has a professor character based on him. He has a website where people can submit them and say he's gotten about 4,000 or 5,000 stories since 2011. Unfortunately, he and his colleagues haven't done much with this treasure trove of information, mostly because a pile of free-form stories is a pretty hard data set to measure. They are looking for someone to do text mining on it, but so far all they have been able to analyze is how many coincidences fall into the different categories you can check off when you submit your story. That's all about the manifestation in this video. I hope you all liked it. For everyone, I prepared a presentation that will be going to share in the description box below. You can check it out from there. So before signing off, I would like to request you all, please do like, share, subscribe this video with your loved ones so that they will get to know better. So this is Carrie Anderson signing off. We will definitely meet in the next video with my other content. Till then, God bless you. Bye bye and take care.